Interest rates are finally struggling to stay above 6.5% for the first time in 4 weeks, but what does that mean for the Dallas real estate market? Hello, my name is Michael. I'm a real estate agent here in the Dallas area, and every Monday I give you a weekly update covering all of Dallas County. We'll be covering both cities and zip codes so you can know exactly what is going on in your local market. We'll be looking for trends, which cities and zip codes are the hottest if you may be looking to sell your home, or if you're a buyer or investor, which cities and zip codes are the coolest if you're looking for a buy opportunity. We're also tracking mortgage rates as well as mortgage purchase applications, as that's our best leading indicator as to what demand is going to look like 30 to 90 days from now. We're looking at things like median list price, days on market, how many homes had price decreases, and inventory. If this sounds like something you're into, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking to move to the Dallas area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. I've helped every one of these yellow dots find their little piece of Texas, and I'd love to help you too. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that info is in the description below. Okay, today is May 8th. Let's see what the data is telling us this week. So if you'll remember back to last week, the market basically stayed flat from the previous week. It was the third week in a row that rates had been above 6.5%. And things were beginning to stall out. This week, it's very obvious things are heating up again, which tells me that buyers every day are getting a little more comfortable with these higher rates. So let's start with mortgage rates. Okay, looking at mortgage rates, if we look today, we're starting right at a 6.5%. So if we look back on the chart, there were a few days last week 6.45, 6.49. And then of course, as we keep looking back, you know this, we've been up in the 6.7, 6.6. Down here, we got right to 6.5, it bounced back up. So for me, all year long, when rates are above 6.5%, demand dries up, less people are applying for mortgages. As soon as rates get below 6.5%, people start applying for mortgages, demand comes back in. So this 6.5 this week is a very important time. So we're not gonna try to guess which way this thing is going, but you just know if it heads below this, things are really gonna heat up. A lot of buyers are going to be applying for mortgages. That's the way it's been, which means a lot of housing demand is going to come in and it's going to be a lot harder for you to buy a house. So if you have the opportunity, I would not wait to buy a home because there's still not a lot of inventory. 2 weeks from now, that rate might be at a 5.99. And you know what the result of all this rate drop was? From January to February, home prices in Dallas County jumped 28% month over month, just from that rate drop. So if that happens again here, you can expect a lot of competition and prices being driven up again. If that happens, you're gonna really wish you had just bought at a 6.5 rate today. So I always say this, time is not your friend in real estate. Don't ever try to time the market. If you can buy a home, you buy a home. If rates go down, you refinance, that's great. If rates go up, then you still made the best choice. It's still great. Waiting, not great. And to add to this, even though mortgage purchase application data isn't out for last week, we can see in the previous week that even though rates were quite a bit above 6.5%, we actually had a 5% increase in people applying for mortgages. Whereas the week before, we actually had a 10% decrease, which again tells you buyers are getting used to the higher rates and they're starting to come back and apply again, even at the higher rates. So you combine that with the rest of the data we're about to look at, and it just all keeps pointing to buyers are getting used to higher rates and demand is coming back and the market is heating up. Okay, moving on to the housing data. Now let's take a look at Dallas County. That's where we always start, and what we use is the Market Action Index. This is the quickest, easiest way to get a glance at what's going on in the entire market in one simple graphic. The Market Action Index just takes all of these factors and puts them into one simple graphic here to tell you where the market is at. So anything above a 30 is a seller's market. As you can see, we're at a 57, which is higher than last month, which is this little gray bar. We're nowhere near a buyer's market, and you can see this number represented here, so you can see just how much it's been climbing since the beginning of the year. Very quickly, looking at these factors, median list price continues to climb, a big jump in the new listings median list price. Days on market remains low. It's been at 28, I believe, for 3 weeks now, and that is low. Days on market should be higher than that in a normal market. Of course, this just shows we're still in a seller's market. The amount of homes having a price decrease did jump a little bit, but 35 is still within the totally normal realm of homes to have a price decrease. You can see the lowest we got was a 32, so we're not far from that. Inventory, though, looks like it's starting to drop again, which is what you don't want to see because we're already in a very supply constrained environment. But look down here. So you can see this darker line is the 90-day average and this dashed line is the weekly average. You can see how big of a jump there was on the weekly. So let's remove the 90. So all the way up to 450 was the median list price in Dallas County, whereas before it was 439 and the week before 438. So remember, we had that 2-week stall and then all of a sudden we're shooting up here. And the way you can quickly read these charts is this dot is 1 year from this dot. So you can see 1 year ago, we were 449,850 and now we're at 450. So we're pretty much where we were a year ago when rates were quite a bit lower in May. And you can see this peak is the all-time high. So we're not far from the all-time high and we're just getting started in the spring season. And rates are still above 6.5%. So what does that tell you? If rates go below 6.5%, we're gonna blow right through this. So again, please don't wait to buy a house. It's going to get more competitive if rates come down at all, and we're already seeing inflation start to cool off. I can't say it enough, don't wait. And as always, if you want to be put on a search like this for yourself, for your specific city or zip code, so you get all this data every week and you don't have to wait for me to say it, and you can sort through all of this yourself for your specific zip code, for your specific price point by breaking it into market segments. You could go, okay, I have a $270,000 house, so I'm only going to look at my price point. You can have access to all of this for free. It's a service that I pay for so that you can use it for free. So take advantage of it. Just leave a comment, call, text, whatever, I'll get you set up. Okay, now we're moving on to my favorite part of the week. These are the top 10 charts. These are the top 10 cities and zip codes ranked out of all 84 zip codes in Dallas County. So starting out with the hottest cities in Dallas County, Grapevine, Louisville, Carrollton all remained in their top 3 spots as they've been for a long time. Irving actually moves up 1 spot, so it gets even hotter. Coppell actually moves up 3 spots. Grand Prairie moves up 1. Richardson heats up 1. Duncanville moves up 2. Sachse actually moves down 5. So a big drop for Sachse, and then Garland jumps on the list out of nowhere, knocking off Duncanville. So congratulations to Garland, your market is heating up, assuming that you own a house. Otherwise, not congratulations, things just got more difficult. Now let's look at the top 10 hottest zip codes. Carrollton 75007, that one's been at the top for a while, followed by Irving 75063, Grapevine 76051, Grand Prairie 75052, Dallas 75252, Garland 75044, Louisville 75067, Irving 75062, Richardson 75080, Duncanville 75116. Those are the top 10 hottest zip codes on a 90-day moving average out of all 84 zip codes in Dallas County. Now this last box, this is just for fun. Don't weigh heavily on this. This is just literally last week which zip codes were the hottest. You can see this is top 10. They were all 100. Like I said, the market is heating up. This list, if we did longer than top 10, there would probably be a lot more hundreds out there. So let's just take a look. Grand Prairie 75052, Dallas 75238, Louisville 75067, Irving 75063, Carrollton 75006, Richardson 75082, Duncanville 75137, Coppell 75019, Grapevine 76051, Irving 75062. Now moving on to the coolest markets. Where might you get a buy opportunity? And don't let this list fool you. Only these 3 are in the 40s or below. And remember, a buyer's market is actually a 30 or below. But anything above a 51, that's still a firm seller's market. But Ferris, again, remains the coolest market in all of Dallas County. Sunnyvale and Seagoville actually switched spots, so Sunnyvale cooled off a little more. Red Oak, Dallas, and Lancaster all remain in their spots. Wiley as well. Cedar Hill and Mesquite switched places from last week, so Cedar Hill is the hotter of the 2 this week. And then Balch Springs comes on, and then Rowlett drops off the list, so good news for Rowlett, you're no longer in the top 10 coolest, and Balch Springs takes its place at number 10, but of course, 64.36 is still a very hot market, even though it's one of the top 10 coolest. Moving on to specifically the zip codes, if you're looking to buy or invest, this is where you're going to want to look for a slow market. Dallas 75212, Ferris 75125, Dallas 75209, Dallas 75230, Sunnyvale 75182, Dallas 75203, Dallas 75235, Seagoville 75159, Dallas 75208, Dallas 75220. So there are a lot of Dallas zip codes where you could maybe get a discount, maybe not be in multiple offers. So use this list. Now let's look at where were the coolest zip codes just this week. Again, don't rely heavily on this. This is more just for fun. But the absolute coolest was Dallas 75210, followed by 75244, then Irving 75038, Balch Springs 75180, Ferris 75125, Sachse 75048, Dallas 75214, Lancaster 75134, Dallas 75208, Sunnyvale 75182. Now let's move on to inventory, see what we can see there. And this is the 90-day average, so it's a little bit slower. I also like to look at the weekly to see if we can spot any trends early. But remember, what we want for inventory is we want it to flatten out and eventually start curving up, because we really need more inventory on the market to help out our buyers. Good news for Dallas is it does look to be in that staying flat / curving upward mode. Not a big curve upward, but it's definitely not going down. Garland is trying to break down. Mesquite is trying to break down. Irving seems to be holding steady. Grand Prairie is going straight down. As we can see, it's jumping onto the top list, and inventory is getting eaten up there in Grand Prairie. So not a great line for Grand Prairie. Wiley's inventory looks to be holding. Richardson looks to be holding. Red Oak looks to be holding. Rowlett as well. And Carrollton, that one looks a little iffy to me. I feel like that one could break down pretty easily. So this is really good news. Other than Grand Prairie, Inventory looks to be flattening out. So great news for you buyers, unless of course interest rates drop, and then forget everything I'm saying because you're going to be competing with a lot of buyers. So what do you guys think? What's the market going to look like for the rest of the spring? I'd love to hear in the comments below. And remember, if you're looking to buy or sell in the Dallas area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great week.